So, for those of you guys who are new to what we're doing right now, tonight we're going to be wrapping up a project that we worked on called the Bias Project. And the Bias Project is basically a project that some of us women did in the community, where we did 3 videos covering the biases that we've personally been through to shed some light on the biases that so many of us women go through. And it really, I think, was a beautiful project. It was hard. It was hard, absolutely, sharing that information. But if you guys haven't already watched the videos, please just search hashtag Bias Project and go watch those videos and share, because we need for everybody to see these videos to know what is truly going on within our healthcare system.
The bias being that men typically get better care in the healthcare system than women do, right. Especially in ER situations, right? Mm-hmm. So, I just want to put in there. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And there's definitely, different repercussions from not being heard. Further progression of illnesses and disease, effects on mental health, potentially causing mental illness such as anxiety, depression, PTSD. There's so much, that comes along with not being heard and not being properly treated. So we wanted to share these stories so that we can try to alleviate some of that problem that we're having in the medical field.
I think Rachel, the Potter practitioner, sent some notes, right? And this one kind of blew me away. It takes an average of 11 years to get diagnosed with
endometriosis.
Thank you. Which is crazy. It shouldn't happen that way. And she threw another one that just, I can believe it with every fiber of my body. In 2015, there were 5 more studies done on erectile dysfunction than premenstrual syndrome.
Mm-hmm. I think the one that really got me, though, was the study that they did in 2018, where they interviewed different providers, and men who complained of pain were described as brave or stoic, and women were described as emotional and hysterical. And 40% of those providers that said these things were females. So it goes to show that the bias runs deep in the healthcare field, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's just men doctors who are doing this to us.
No, it's like the comment that I've talked about in the teaser for the live tonight was somebody, a lady that was former healthcare, that said that it was all just people's stories, personal experiences, that there wasn't anything to back it all up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how many studies do we need?
Right.
We had 2 healthcare professionals on Tuesday night or Monday night, Dr. Mike, as well as Potter practitioner, both say it, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think we're ever going to change 100% of the minds, but if we can just get the exposure out to let people know, right? And that's important, just my 2 cents. And again, I'm an outsider on this. I shared the videos. I watched the videos. I cried watching a lot of these videos, knowing the stories behind the studies, and for how people in the medical field can't see that, it just tears me apart. Yeah. Tears me apart. So anyway, I'm interrupting you, and I'm supposed to be quiet because I'm not supposed to be talking because... Y'all, this headache, I swear it's like I'm in 15 feet of mud. And so every thought, I have to talk real slow and think about what I'm saying to make sure what I'm saying is actually right. It is so frustrating. And y'all know me, if I drink a Red Bull, I can't shut up. So
how many have you had tonight?
I've only had one, and I'm drinking caffeine free. I've got my Topo and I've got A&W root beer. A&W is root beer is caffeine free. So
yeah.
I'm doing good there. I'm doing good. So,
I think if anybody, you're in a room full of people who understand what that's like. So
I think so. I think so. So, you had talked to some of the folks that had participated in producing videos, right? Today?
Mm-hmm.
And you have some that are willing to come in and talk about their experiences. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And
yes,
I think Lana CRPS Warrior was one.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? So
yes,
let's
sir.
see if Lana CRPS Warrior is ready. I just sent them an invite to see. Oh, there we are. And Lana, you can. Oh, hey,
Hi.
kiddo. How are you?
I'm good tonight.
I love hearing that. I love hearing that. So
I had a good physical therapy today. So
that's kind of like, for me, that's like Army intelligence. Very rarely do I say the physical therapy was good, because I walk out feeling hurting so bad afterwards, So
mine's I do water therapy.
Oh, nice.
That's slick.
I want to start getting into that again too.
Yeah. It's like 90 degrees, warm pool.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. If I've had a bad day, that makes it a good day. Usually.
Awesome. So, Amanda, I'm going to do something. Yeah, I'm going to let you do this. Do this part.
So earlier we were talking, and I just, your videos were so touching and so compelling, and I'm so sorry that you went through all of that. Could you, for anybody who hasn't seen your videos, kind of summarize a little bit of what they were about and how that's affected you?
Well, the one was when I was 31. I was pregnant. I didn't know it, but I was having a lot of stomach pain, and I'd been pregnant before. I knew, that was a different type of pain. And I tried to tell that doctor, like, this isn't a pregnant pain. Right. This is something else. He's like, no, it's because you're pregnant. That's why. I said, no, it's not. There's something else going on. He's like, no, it's got to be you're pregnant. That's why you're in pain. So he's like, come back in a couple of days if you're still in pain. Well, I was. And it was my appendix, and it was just about to burst. It was close.
Yeah.
Close. Surgeon that, he was like, he said if it would have gone, another couple hours, I might have died. So.
It's so wild.
It's so wrong.
His name was Dr. Dick.
His literal name was Dr. Dick.
Dr. Dick.
Is that a red flag? I mean,
and he's still a doctor there.
Oh my gosh.
It's been, many years. He said I was too old for it to be my appendix too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody had asked in the comments if this is something that doctors are taught or if this is personal bias. I think it's a healthy combination of both.
Yeah.
They're not taught about pain hardly at all. So that's a big problem. And then, there's things that they're being taught that just I don't think are ethical. But
yeah, I was shocked to find out that like pain doctors, pain specialists, it's basically an extra class they take to become a pain specialist. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Just one class?
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one reason I won't go to doctors that graduated from Baylor University. That's where Dr. Israel Pena in Granbury, Texas came from.
Tell me he was with BSW. I would have told you to fucking get out of there.
He got his pre-med was all through Baylor, and then he went somewhere up on the northeast coast for his residency. So for whatever. So, but that's like basic 101. Pain hurts. Believe your patient, right?
Yeah,
so,
right.
a lot of your videos tore me up. They did. And I, as somebody from the outside in that can't really experience what you went through and went through all the other ladies went through, I'm sorry. I am. It's so not right. And everybody that comes on tonight, I'm going to personally apologize to, because we've had gentlemen run across this who have told me they never knew.
Yeah.
It's, I hope that it's armed these guys to help people in their lives, spouse, mom, aunt, daughter, you know, like I said in a video, the neighbor's dog walker's nieces, cousin's daughter, you know, everybody.
And that's what, you know, that's what I was going to say too. I think the beauty of this project, as painful as it was, is that people are more aware now and they can help each other better, you know, and hopefully build some, you know, some sympathy for what we go through.
I hope, you know. I also got messages from ladies, and I read a few in the comments on my videos where I was talking about the whole project, where ladies were like, I didn't realize it was that this was a thing.
Right.
It happened. I mean, they said it. I'm just used to crappy doctors,
Right.
you know, and so whenever we do these like projects or things, Amanda and I, we set the baseline as one person learns they're not alone. And I know we well exceeded that with this.
Yeah.
And then we educated people. Lots of guys got educated, you know. My link tree never gets any action on it. It just sits there and like taking up space on the internet. And the numbers went through the roof. People actually going to and reading the summary of the study, you know. So that was really, really good. I'm sorry to get in between your all's conversation. I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm going to let you do this because I have a spider walking across my cell phone and it's really kind of scaring me right now. So I'm going to mute myself until I can get this under control. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. So,
I don't like spiders. I'm sorry.
so distracted. Lana, is there anything that you'd like to share that you learned from your experiences from going through this? Something that is, I guess, I don't want to say something positive necessarily, but what you took from it that you can move forward and use to your benefit. Is there anything that you've learned from these experiences?
I keep a notebook with me all the time. I document everything. Even like I do my blood pressure a couple of times a day, just so that I can show like it's not my blood pressure. I have perfect blood pressure. If anything is low, you know, it's not my blood pressure causing whatever, you know, there's something else going on.
Right.
And you know, and then I've been also recording my doctor appointments too, because for one thing, I can go over it again mentally and be like, did I actually hear what he was saying? You know, and I've, you know, looked into, tried to get like a advocate or something to come with me, but it's really difficult.
It's tough. Do you have anybody else in your family that could go with? I mean, sometimes we even recommend just bringing a spouse or, you know, a loved one with us, because doctors tend, I'm not going to say always because I've dealt with bias in front of my husband, but sometimes they'll tend to be a little less aggressive or abrasive when there's somebody else in the room witnessing.
Yeah. So I had to give up driving a couple months ago. They haven't taken away my license, but I did it for my safety and everybody else's safety, honestly.
Yeah.
But, so I've got signed up with like a driving deal,
Yeah.
and she is a very good advocate for me. She
Good.
helps me out so much, and I try to bring her with as much as possible. She's been to a couple of my doctor appointments.
Good.
She is a good advocate. I love her. She's an angel.
Good. Yeah. I think, one thing I think I've learned, I've learned a lot of stuff, but I agree with you on everything that you do. I do very similar things as well. But yeah, it's tough moving forward from these situations. It really is.
I don't wear makeup at doctor's appointments at all.
Right. Yeah,
At
that's
all,
something.
because then they can see, like, exactly how red my face gets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Well, is there anything else you would like everybody to know about you or what happened with your situation?
Well, like,
I know 10 minutes is a short amount of time. It's hard to fit it all in.
Yeah,
If you guys could, make sure that you follow Lana and check out her bias story. It's important to watch these videos as hard as it is. It's so important.
It is. I guess, excuse me. If you don't know Lana, I want you to know that you let people know that they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
And
that's helped me so much, is getting that out, because I've had to put that where I was a hard-working rancher,
Mm-hmm.
and you wouldn't believe it if you saw me, now, but
having to give it up, and
I had to give it up. I can't do it anymore, so I have to put my energy into something else, and that helped me so much.
But I think you're going to find something else to put the energy in.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of us in some way do that.
Yeah.
I know Amanda has. I know when I was on the streets in Vegas, doing all that, and then I couldn't do that anymore. And the invisible community has really filled that hole for me.
Yeah.
And I think eventually we find it. And I think mainly that helps us all mentally a lot, is to find ways that either we're giving back or we're doing something positive. And it gives us a good mental outlet of it. Your story was incredible. I don't want to get into it because I don't want to trigger you, and I don't want to trigger anybody else.
Right.
But I'll send you a message about the one thing that hit me really, really hard. And when I heard you say it, I was already tearing up, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" The bravery that you showed by sharing is incredible, and getting your story out. And coming up in the future, we're going to do a project where we're going to encourage everybody invisible to not be invisible anymore. And they'll understand what it was like for what you did. And I can't say thank you enough. I can't tell you how big of a hero you and all the other ladies were to me now, because of the strength. I don't think a lot of guys could do it, to be honest with you, because it takes that personal strength and the desire to want people to take care of other people. Mm-hmm. That's what you did. So you're the bestest.
Thank you, Lana, for being
I'm going to take you off the screen. I'm going to probably disconnect you, but please come back into the live. Don't run away, because you're important. And there may be questions in the comments that people have, and you can answer. There may not be, but your opinion is valuable to us. And so thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Lana.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right. That one of the things she told me,
you're going to have to PM me it, because there's so much. There's just so much over the last few days of watching these videos.
Yeah.
I feel like I can finally breathe, but I know this isn't over.
No. I am going down through the list of people that you sent me, and I'm
Okay.
looking for names. So just kind of, oh, here's one. Let's see. This will be a familiar face to a lot of people. At least I think she was on the list. I don't know. We'll see if she accepts. Yep, looks like she did.
Yeah, Amy.
Hey, kiddo.
Miss Amy.
Hey, friends.
How
How
are
you doing?
I am doing all right tonight.
Good. Good.
Glad to
All
have
right.
you here.
So I have to ask, is the doing all right? Is that like my version of I'm peachy?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. You got to remember, there's 60 some odd people in this room that we see through masks, and it's okay.
Dang it.
All right.
I'm so
Yeah.
used to being able to cover it up with family members, but you
Yeah.
guys just see right through it.
We do.
You get to
We
let
do.
it down with us. I think
Yeah.
that's special. I think it's important that we have each other to finally be real with, you know?
Yeah. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but your story, I cried during yours too. And because it's also wrong.
Yeah.
It's so wrong. And there's no defense for it. There's zero. If there was facts to do it, or studies that showed, but there aren't. The studies show the exact opposite. And yet the bias is real.
Mhm.
And just like I told Lana, I'm sorry. It's not, I don't go into the ER and demand better treatment or go into a doctor's office and demand better. It's not something that I try to set up to do. And to know your story now and to know Lana's and so many others, it kills me. It really hurts. So, and I think I've told you in messages before, but if I haven't, thank you for being a rock star like everybody else.
Yeah.
This wasn't easy. You were part of the Grief Project, and we all know that it took anybody that was part of the Grief Project almost a month to recover from it, right? And here you are, caring enough about others to let them know they're not alone, and delving right and going right back in head first.
Yeah.
And your compassion for others is incredible. So
Dang it, Keith. You're going to make me cry. I've already been so emotional today.
I'm sorry. It's true. All of y'all. Like I just told Lana, guys couldn't share stories like this.
Yeah.
And
I think one day we should do some of the biases that men deal with too, though, because it's not that y'all don't, it's just different.
well, I think our biases are the same, that some of the same ones y'all face.
Some of them, yeah.
But not to 11 years on average to get diagnosed for India. I'm just going to say endo because I can't pronounce
Yeah,
it tonight.
just say endo. It's okay. It took me 20 years, so.
You know, and I saw in comments that it took, you know, that's not, somebody said, yeah, that was me too, you know? So,
So many of us women have endometriosis, and it just, I never knew. I never knew until we started doing this how many of us there really are out there. It's astounding.
it's astounding.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll try to stay quiet this time.
Good luck. You've had your Red Bull. Amy, if there's anything you'd like to share about your story, about your videos, you know, or if you'd like to summarize, you know, one of the situations that you've been through,
Sure.
is there one that you can pick that was like substantially worse than others?
Oh my gosh.
I know it's hard. I know there's a lot.
Yeah. And like I said in one of my videos, like I started having problems when I was 15. So I have 20 years worth
Yeah.
of crappy doctor's appointments and judgy doctors and being told that I was being dramatic or I had to be making stuff up because I was going to college or I was playing sports. But the instance that I talked about in the video is one that I talk about a lot because I didn't know that so many, like whenever I posted the video, I had so many comments and people message me that they also went through procedures and stuff without any pain medication.
Yeah.
And so I was getting like nerve ablations, injections, all that stuff with no IV sedation, no like relaxation medicine, no lidocaine, no medicine afterward, just like raw dogging it.
It's horrific.
Painful. It is extremely painful.
It is
I've done it
painful.
twice myself, and I would never ever do that again. Like, first off, the risk of you moving while they have a needle in your spine, like, how can they even think that's a good idea? You know, and it just, well, there's so much wrong with it, and the trauma that it causes you as a patient. Just,
I've had nerve ablations, and there was no choice. I mean, they gave me a choice. Do you want to be sedated or not? I'm like, are you an idiot?
Right?
Yeah, I want to be sedated.
Of course I want to be sedated.
Will my insurance cover it? Well, yeah. Then what? Then why are you asking me a stupid question? Right? I mean, and once they did, they had to do temporary nerve blocks to see if the nerve ablation would work. And on that one, I didn't have a ride to or from it, so I couldn't do sedation. That one I did raw dog it. And the doctor ahead of time in Vegas was awesome. He was from Long Island, and he had a really thick Long Island accent. And he stabbed me, and I just let out this 50-word string of expletives right at the top of my lungs. And he handled it great because we ended up playing it off. But there's no way in hell I'd do that again. And then for them just to assume that you're okay with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I mean, I did that procedure. I did nerve ablations, injections in my cervical spine. So I did multiple levels. I did 4 rounds of it at multiple levels. So I would say I probably had 8 different procedures done. And I mean, there were times where he had to stop the procedure because I was crying, and he says, "You're shaking the table. Like, I can't do this procedure when you're shaking the table." And I was like, "I'm sorry." Like, I was a teenager, so of course I'm apologizing to this man. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, whatever.
Yeah, like it's our fault.
Right. Now
Yeah,
I'm like
we can, control that.
But then years later, I went to a doctor, and he said, "Well, I would like to try the nerve ablations again." And I said, "Absolutely not. Like, we're not doing it, not doing it." And he was like, "Well, why?" And I said, "It's torture." I was like, "It's so painful. I'm not doing that again." He's like, "Well, what do you mean it's painful?" And I was like, "What do you mean it's not painful? Like, What are you talking about?" And he was like, "Well, we'll give you something to like sedate you, and then there's lidocaine, and then you'll have something afterwards." I was like, "Whoa, what?"
Right? Like, that's an option. I remember that feeling too. I went through that same thing.
And he was blown away. He was like, "And you had how many rounds done with nothing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know that was not an option. That I could ask for something, or that something was supposed to be provided to me." And then getting so many comments and so many messages from other people being like, "No, we didn't get anything either."
Yeah.
I'm like, we're just out here being tortured. Like, that's just plain torture.
It is. For no reason.
Yeah. When modern medicine exists, and we know how pain medication works, and we know how anesthesia works, there's no reason. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a naturopath, I don't have a license for anything, just lived experience. But if your doctors are doing this to you in an office setting, just willy-nilly sticking needles in your spine, it's time to go.
Yeah,
it's time to find another option
to feel normal.
Oh my God.
So I already had pain management before. I'd had them before my surgery for about 1.5 years. And they've been really good to me, but I don't think they know a lot. I feel like I'm learning more than they know at this point. And here's the scary story is that I had those surgeries, all those little mistakes happened, which I think are very contributing. And it's like I woke up a little bit after. I mean, it was soon after I met you. Like, I don't even remember when, like last year sometime. I did 8 months of physical therapy. I had terrible balance, lots of pain. Every neuropathy symptom you can have, I have it at any given time, all the time. I let this man talk me into a spinal cord stimulator. And I did it. I loved the reps. We took our time on it. I didn't feel like I rushed into it. So I have that. I had great response at the trial. So we decided to move forward, but it took like 3 months for my insurance to approve it. It just took a while. And so after my spinal cord surgery, maybe 6 months after, my nurse practitioner says, I really want you to go see this neurosurgeon. She was like, I trust him to look into my brain and operate on my brain. So I'm like, great, we'll just see what he can provide. So he did an exam on me, and I'm supposed to have another scar higher up in my back that was not there. So he doesn't know what really happened to me during surgery, because he was like, you always have that third scar a little bit further up your back. And I have not found another neurologist, by the way. I'm in this holding pattern a little bit where I don't want to jump too soon. I'm very cautious about it. Pain management knows it, that if they want to mess with my spine, it's no. What else can we do? And they're not pushing it on me to do a specific thing. I don't know. I can't believe I just got through saying all that stuff without crying, because I haven't done that before. But that's kind of like just where the CPRS started.
Yeah.
So that's like, we haven't been back to see the surgeon for any reason. He shouldn't be a doctor.
Right.
He should not be a doctor. I can't imagine how many people he's actually hurt. And this also happened after I had my spinal cord surgery. And this is probably highly unprofessional. But my nurse practitioner in pain management said, when we get Dr. So-and-so's patient, it's not always a good story or outcome.
And they know this. And do they do anything about it?
No, they never said anything. Not a word about it. And I'm just like, how? How did all of these things line up so perfectly to take me from my life? I was a super active community member where I live, always volunteering, into my boys, showing up for everything. And now, for me to go do something, I went and saw my youngest in college today, and I used every spoon I have probably for the next 4 days.
Yeah.
But I would not give up that time, with him at all. But we didn't do anything fun. We went to lunch. I took him to Walmart, and I said, I'm done. I can't do anymore. And he's very understanding, but it's not the way I want to be.
Yeah. I understand that. I do.
And I don't even know what to think about my story. I just want someone other than me and my husband to react to it just a little bit, so I can see, were my expectations just not met, or were my expectations set too high, or...
No, I think your expectations were realistic and they were not delivered.
Yeah, I think your expectations were dead on. We're right on.
I think we go into surgery a lot of times expecting to come out with better outcomes, and unfortunately, that's not always the case.
Yeah,
I'm gutted by the fact that there's other professionals that I mean, I'm glad they admit that, hey, we get patients to this from this person, and it's not always good when they show up. And it was a question I meant to ask when we had two nurse practitioners on Monday, and I just totally spaced it. I get in corporate settings, like a lot of doctors' offices are more like clinics, and they're owned by a conglomerate company, or they're owned by an insurance company, basically. And they have a list of people they refer to for whatever, for POTS, it's these two guys, or doctors, or for back or pain management, it's these three. And that's the only people they're referred to. What do they do when they know those three suck? Right.
Yeah.
And what's the process? And it's because they have to know.
Yeah.
They have to hear back from I would hope they hear back from their patients, or I would hope the patients in general are coming back with, this is what happened.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I think that you're helping people do. It goes back to advocating for ourselves. And it may not seem like advocating, but simply telling your PCP, man, this guy that you sent me to for this pain management, we don't get along. Who else can I go see?
Yeah.
Is there somebody else I can go see? And that may not seem like advocating for yourself, but it is.
Yes.
Right. And, the guy that did this to you shouldn't be allowed anywhere near our operating room.
Like, I think about that all of the time. Of the time, how he should not be touching people anymore.
Yeah. And,
like, I wish I could have been his last. I really do.
Yeah. And that's one of the, I'm not getting political when I say this. I'm not going to go down this road. But state legislatures have passed so many laws that deal with malpractice and limit malpractice cases, that unless it's like a crazy thing, like the dude in Florida that cut off a hunk of liver and sent it in to have the spleen tested, right?
Right.
That they can sue for. But just shitty doctoring or, doing damage to people, a lot of attorneys won't touch it because there's no money there.
Yeah.
And it's not like the money would be nice. I just want somebody to know.
I just want to be fixed.
Yeah.
Like, I want the magic pill or whatever it's supposed to be. And y'all were talking about injections, and I've had several injections over the last 4 years or whatever, and I've refused all of them this year. And they don't work.
Oh.
They never worked on my spine ever.
And they actually can cause more damage.
I did have, this is my brain not remembering certain words.
Hey, I'm
I
right
was
there with you.
sedated.
You were
for all of
sedated.
them, yes.
That's
Just before, and then the lidocaine went in, and it didn't knock me out or anything like that, but I was super relaxed, and I don't remember the injection. So, and he does it in the office underneath I'm going to say around a fluoroscope. Is that right? It's like an X-ray machine that he can see exactly where the needle's going. And they do have a small ER in there. And that's where they do all of their injections. But I'm pretty sure it's not being cleaned, because as I walk out, another one walks in. And that's when I was just kind of like, I don't want to do it.
That was one of the reasons I stopped too, because I was going to a surgical center through my pain clinic, and it was like a McDonald's drive-through. It was one patient after another, after another, after another. And I just wonder, when we do so many different surgical treatments, what are the repercussions? Like, I want to do research on this. What are the repercussions of getting sedated so frequently?
All right.
Because I know that can't be, that good for us either.
Yeah. And as far as ketamine goes for me, I don't know if I can say that. Sorry. The K that I had, it worked the first time, but it only lasted like 3 days. And she was like, let's just keep going. Sometimes it just takes several times, and it just never got better than the first day.
Right.
And and they're expensive. Insurance
Yeah.
doesn't cover them. It was all out of pocket, a lot out
Yeah.
of pocket. But
Yeah, I do the troches, the oral troches, and I have to pay out of pocket for it every month.
yeah, they've given me access to them as a toolbox kind of thing for me to use. But I haven't used one in like 4 weeks, so it's not doing a lot for me.
Right. Yeah, and over time, there's also, repercussions for being on it for long periods of time and things like that. But
Yeah. So,
But yeah.
But thank y'all for accepting me
of course,
and allowing me to be part of this, because it's not so easy, I'm a teacher at heart. I haven't worked in a long time, but like that part's just not a possibility for me anymore.
I'm so sorry. I know it's so hard. We need to do a live on that. I mean, that was part of the morning, but I mean, really focusing on losing, our work, being able to do a career.
And doing the bias project, I didn't realize how hard it was going to be until I posted the first video.
Yeah.
And watching it back, knowing that it was live, that other people could see it. I don't trust social media as per se. I know there's weirdos out there or whatever, and that doesn't really bother me, but it's a lot to put yourself out there.
It is.
It is.
And
it is.
I wish I wasn't coming on here and having like these tired eyes and being droopy, because it's not my personality. That's not how people would describe me ever. But I just can't get past
Sarah,
it. Yeah.
How do I say it? Every 61 people are here right now. 63. Me and Amanda. We see you. We don't see tired eyes or a tired face.
Yeah.
We see you.
Yeah.
And
This is to let that mask down,
and
I keep that mask so tight.
I know.
I think a lot of us do that.
But
I think I have maybe 4 people I trust to really be who I am in the hard moments, which is a lot. I feel fortunate to have 4 people,
Like I told Amy, though, you're 66 people that we see right through the mask because we wear the same masks, right? It's okay. We see you. We see the person. We don't see the illness. We don't see what the doctor. We see you.
Yeah.
And when we hear your story, we relate. I've said it so many times, and I hope it starts to sink into to the new people. What happened to you didn't necessarily happen to me, but I've had bad doctors.
Yeah.
Right. I've been gaslit and lied to. I've been fired. I've been all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't been cut on by a bad dude yet, thank God. But I feel like I can understand where you're coming from. So everybody here gets it, and the people that saw your video, some of them realize that they're not alone. Some people realize, shit, this is real.
Yeah.
Some of them realize this is a bigger problem than what I thought.
Well, I think it's really important to advocate. I just do.
Yeah.
And I may not want to advocate, but what else am I going to do? I have this chronic condition, and I can advocate from the couch this way. I'd really like to see us make it an in-person advocate kind of situation. I would talk to pain management doctors at a convention they're at. Let them hear us.
A friend of ours, a lady that I met through this app, was working on a class that doctors would be available at med schools for doctors to go through to teach them about chronic illnesses, chronic pain, and mental health. And unfortunately, it's kind of been a little sidetracked because she just got really bad. with her issues, her physical issues. But I can't wait to help her finish this project because I know there's these people in these ivory towers that we could talk to until we're blue in the face. But I honestly feel if we could get a few verified stories in front of them, that maybe it would, I'm there with you. I'd love to drive down to Baylor, or not Baylor White, but Baylor University and just protest the crap out of that place. What kind of people are you sending out? You know?
Yeah.
But by you doing the difficult bit of sharing, you're encouraging other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hope so.
And there's so many different ways to advocate too. You're an educator, so learn about these things and help teach us. We all have a place in this community. We all have different things that we have to offer to the community. So I think it's important that we all learn what our strengths are and really come together and try to,
And the Bias Project is a perfect example of that. I couldn't share your story.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? As much as I would want to, when Amanda and I were talking about doing this project, it's like we need to, but I can't. I feel guilty messaging people saying, "Hey, would you think about doing this?" Because I'm comfortable now sharing me, but because I had an idea of how difficult this was going to be. But all these people, you and Amy and Lana and Kate G and so many others, Kendra. I'm not bullshitting when I say you guys are my heroes for doing it. The closest I can come to was the Grief Project, and I know how hard that was.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was as hard as this. And yet here you are.
Yeah.
Rockstar.
No reason to compare. We've got our own stories. We just want to help each other.
Yeah.
That's it.
For sure.
That's
and
it.
I appreciate you letting me come on. And before I go, I just have to say, horns up, Keith.
Ah!
Hook 'em horns.
Horns down, baby. Horns down.
Keep talking about us. It doesn't matter.
Y'all are going to make it to the championship game or you get your butts kicked. And I have a T-shirt. From when Alabama beat y'all in the national championship that I still wear. Okay? I still
Alabama's
wear
not
it.
looking good this year.
I don't care. That was a great game and we beat you. That's all that matters. I have that T-shirt. So take your horns and get the heck off of my page. All right. We're going to go. I think I've got at least one more that I want to try to squeeze in before we take off. All right. Thank you.
Bye, Sarah. Thank you.
Bye.
She had me until she said the horn stuff. And that just kind of,
I'm in Austinite, right?
I know you are. I lived in Bastrop right outside. Right outside of it. One more on the list that you'd given me was this person. Let's see if they're still wanting to share tonight or if they don't want to. It looks like they do.
Hey, Katie.
Hey, Katie, how you doing?
How are you?
Katie, I love your screen name, Rational Rage. I love it. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I don't
It's
know why my
beautiful.
camera's not playing nice.
It's all right. I wish my times my camera didn't. So are you doing okay? Are you doing okay tonight? Best as we
Tonight's a
we
rough
could hope.
night. Tonight's rough.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But you are a hero of mine for sharing like you did. I hope you know that. I hope that knowing that you've helped people, that you put yourself out there to help others is an amazing thing. And I am sorry for how you've been treated. And I'm going to fight for you guys. Do whatever it takes. I promise you.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I just got teary-eyed for some reason.
It's tough.
It's a hard thing when we think about all this. Like, I've known this has existed, the bias, for years. I mean, I started having problems when I was 12. Like, this isn't new.
Yep.
But going through that so young, I started to question myself because I was told this is normal. This is what a period is like.
Right.
And so you start to not trust yourself when things happen that young because the adults around you are like, hey, this, it's okay. You're fine. Just stop being a big baby, basically. Even though you're bent over, can't walk, throwing up for 5 days out of every month, but that's normal, right? Like, and then it just goes from there. Like when I had my hysterectomy, which I was one of the lucky ones to get young.
How old were you when you had your hysterectomy?
I was 27.
27.
I was 27, which, I mean, even being diagnosed with endo within 6 years is a huge, like, that's insane. That,
yeah.
To me, 6 years was long, but at the same time, that's so short compared to a lot of people.
Sure.
But when I had my hysterectomy, they had to go in abdominally, so from hip to hip again, because of all the scar. They were afraid of scar tissue, and they were afraid they couldn't do it the other way. I wake up from surgery. They have a pump on you. That was the first time I'd ever had it. And it made me very sick. I reacted to it. I was throwing up. And I called my nurses in and said, what else can we do? Because obviously I'm in pain. You gave me this thing, but I can't tolerate it. And they said, tough, suck it up. There's nothing else we're going to do for you. So you've cut me hip to hip, but I can't have pain meds. Yeah.
I don't understand the logic.
It's like, you already gave me some. What's the difference of switching out what I have? But yeah, I was supposed to be in the hospital for 3 days. I stayed 24 hours and left because what was the point of being there?
Right.
There was. And then the sad thing is, like, that's 2 of a billion stories I could share. Like, it's just.
Right.
And I think that for me has been the hardest part of this is like, you know, they're out there, but to realize how prevalent and how messed up the system is, it just, that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that there's others going through this. Like, it should not be that way. This should not be happening.
It shouldn't be. But by going through this again, y'all let others know that they didn't do anything wrong and it's not them and that they're not alone. And I know it doesn't take away the pain, but to that one person that finds out that they're not alone now, maybe that helps.
Hopefully the more that we talk about this, the more we bring awareness, you know, to all of this, but especially to endometriosis, you know, hopefully will help save some women from going through what we've been through. Maybe women will be able to get diagnosed a little bit earlier if they know the signs and symptoms. And, you know, I have so much hopes for this whole thing that we're doing, just spreading awareness.
Yeah. Katie, if I remember right, in one of your videos, did you talk about the amount of time about makeup? Or
It was something I was thinking about even earlier. The amount of prep I go through even to go to a doctor, like the thought process is insane. It's, do I wear makeup? Do I do my hair? Because I've been treated differently based on if my hair's done or my makeup's done, or even if I can sit still or not sit still. And both get me in trouble, because if you're sitting still, you must be okay. But if you can't sit still, then it's anxiety. It's just, it goes, like, I'm exhausted before I even get to my doctor's appointment because everything that's gone on in my head just to get there. And that, again, is a piece I don't think we talk a lot about, and it's not seen because it's internal. But this is the stuff I've internalized because of all of this.
Right.
Yeah. When we really kind of announced that this was going to be a thing on a Tuesday night, we had a gentleman that joined, and he was bringing up a lot of good points about men are still stigmatized in ERs, and especially pain patients and stuff. And we shared with them, you know, parts of the studies that talk about if women have too much makeup on, or if they don't have makeup on, how that can be an impact. And even though this dude was 1,000 miles away from me, you could see a light bulb start to turn on. So when I watched your video and heard you explain about how you had actually kind of processed how much time that you've spent in your life on dealing with that, Jesus, I just I couldn't stop crying, because that is so, whether you have makeup on or not has nothing to do with your medical issues. And yet people in the medical field think it does. And my poor blue collar brain can't wrap my head around it.
It doesn't
So
make sense. Because it doesn't make sense. Like, and I've got to the point in the ER once and I stopped myself because, again, you're afraid to say certain things sometimes, but it's like, what do you want from me? You tell me because I had kidney stones, if I move too much, it's just anxiety, it's not the pain. But if I sit still, then I can't be in pain. And if my blood pressure is normal, again, I can't be in that much pain. Well, what do you want me to look like? Like, in your head, what should this person look like? I'll do what you want.
Yeah.
That
tell
is
me
not
what I
a
need to
thought
do.
that should be had when you're sitting in the ER.
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Get your but it's a natural thought because you're a human being, right? I mean, and that's how they train and what they and there's not, until we keep telling people that this is going on and start changing opinions, one story at a time or one group at a time. You know, as painful as it is to shine light on it, we can't keep it in the dark anymore, because nothing's changed if it keeps in the dark, right? Nothing changes if somebody feels it's their fault that the doctor was shitty to them. And it, you know, so I don't know. Again, you're my hero, because sharing like that is very, 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 is incredibly difficult and hard, you know, all y'all. So
I'm just reading all the comments. VJ is sharing, if you guys haven't seen the comments, VJ is sharing some very insightful information on, you know, tips when you go to your doctors. And I was just, I got distracted, so I'm sorry.
you know,
I promise I was listening, but it just had my brain, you know, going, because I don't know.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. And I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to have somebody with me. There is a huge difference if I am by myself, or particularly if my husband is with me.
Right.
And I don't know what that says, but it's what I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. It again, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. And and you can feel free. Anybody that ever comes on one of my lives, always feel free to tell me to shut up. Okay. So I'm going to ask a question, and if you don't answer it, just tell me to shut up, and I won't be offended. I'll shut up. Through all this ugly with the doctors that you faced and with medical staff, at times, do you at least feel like you are any better at reaching them, at explaining to them what's going on?
Sometimes, and the ones that I feel like actually are listening, then get stuck and bogged down by policy and procedure and protocol. I don't fit anymore under any one umbrella. I have so many things going on, but they try to pigeonhole you. And so, like, if we're not talking about one particular thing, or you don't fit exact criteria or their plan, it seems like they kind of stop listening. They don't know what to do anymore. That's kind of where I'm at with things.
Yeah.
That I don't fit the mold.
Right.
And so they're like, yeah,
Right.
very.
Yeah, when we're complicated patients, the doctors kind of throw their arms up and say, "We'll go to this specialist and this specialist and this specialist," and they don't even realize how much time of our life that it takes to get these appointments, to make the appointments, to have the anxiety and the fear and the dread of going to these appointments and being at these appointments. It's so much.
And that's a huge point. Like, you go in, and maybe this is a me thing, I don't know. I go in with this hope that maybe this time, someone will actually treat the pain. And when it doesn't happen, that's when I break down. Like, it seems like every other, so now it's the point of like, do I even want to go to the doctor? Because are they really going to do anything? They want to, well, you're depressed. Well, I'm depressed because I'm in pain. How about we treat the pain and not worry about the depression and all the rest of the meds you want to push on me? If you treated the pain, we wouldn't need them. I don't remember whose video I saw that was literally, if I can give them one med versus 5, why wouldn't I give them the one?
Right.
Yeah. And it's here's a blood pressure medicine because your blood pressure's through the roof. Well, if I wasn't in constant pain, my blood pressure wouldn't be this high.
Right.
Oh, no. Or God forbid it's, here, you need a antidepressant. That'll take care of you.
Yeah.
And I don't know of any case where an antidepressant by itself is taking away pain. If it was, we would all be on even more antidepressants, right? And then you have hospitals that are taking money to test Haldol as a pain med, and it doesn't go away. I mean, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. DEA is doing another production cut, but that's a whole other ball of wax, And then to have you guys get treated worse just for simply who you are. Oh, fuck.
Well, and I think she brings up a really good point too, is the medical burnout that it can cause for patients, because I'm there. I gave up on a lot of my specialties or my specialists. I worked really hard to get off of a lot of medications because I didn't want to depend on it anymore. Even though I may need some of those, I couldn't do it anymore. I just mentally could not do it anymore. And that's a big part of being not heard and not treated. So it's like a lot of us go through medical burnout where we just can't do it anymore.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that unfortunately feel there's no other choice, but they do give up. And which causes even more spirals and even worse things to happen. So, oh my God.
Thank you, Katie, for jumping on. We really appreciate you sharing your story with all of us and for being brave and vulnerable. I know these subject matters that we cover are really heavy, and we don't shy away from those heavy subjects because it's important. It's important as a community that we know what's going on and, try to do what we can to fix it,
Yeah. And Katie, you did make a difference. You did. And I thank you for that. Your stories definitely motivate me to be better. If I can't physically change it, I can better advocate and help others get an understanding that the situation is real. And you did more than that, but I can tell you that's my experience from hearing you share your stories. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And I just want to thank you both. Having found this community has been so helpful for me. I found it at a point where I was very low, and this has been amazing. So thank you both for everything you do in the community.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're invisible like you, unfortunately. I wish nobody was a member of this community. But you're here, you're seen, you're heard, you're loved. I promise you that.
And the more that we share our stories, the more that we'll be invisible no more. They can't ignore us if we don't stop talking.
No, they can't ignore us. So thank you again, Katie. You have a great night. I hope your night gets better for you. Okay?
Thanks, guys.
All right, be safe.
All right.
Amanda, you just said something, and I just want to kind of get this out. I think I've said it. I know I've said it before, but there's a lot of different types of advocacy and different types of groups not just on this app, but like other apps and other social media. Some do legislative work, some do physical in-person advocacy. I don't think that that's what we created here. I think
some of us do support groups.
Yeah, right.
That's what we do.
I think what's been created is this community where we're all together. And one of the blessings of the invisible community on this app is that we're able to do hard things that other groups either can't or won't. And this is a subject that others would keep a 10-foot pole, stay away from.
Oh.
And I'm constantly amazed at the strength that's in this community to share and to let others know the care they have for others, to let them know they're not alone. And, you know, this is what we are. This is what the invisible community is.
Yeah.
And you guys make it what it is by caring for others and wanting to be there for others. And God, I can't thank you enough. I cannot thank you enough. You know, Kelsey, you're right. The emotional support and kinship is amazing. You know, it really, really is. And
I really feel like it's something that we were missing in our community too. I mean, I haven't found support like this elsewhere personally.
I mean, Amanda, you've been around since day one. You know, the idea, let people know they're seen, they're heard, and that they're loved. That's what started. And this is what's grown. I mean, there's no reason that this community is 7,000 to 10,000 people strong. It's because people caring for others and willing to do what it takes to show people they're not alone and that they're loved.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that, you know. I know
there's 50,000 plus of us just in the U.S.
Oh, there's more than that.
Of chronic pain patients, 50,000 plus.
I think that's a way understatement.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. That's it, Moonchild. Invisible no more.
Yep.
Well, we were silent for so long, and we can't be invisible no more. We may not change the world, but fuck it, they'll know we're here. And at least
I'm sorry, I meant 50 million. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
50,000.
So, I've got like a gazillion people that want to come on and talk. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that tonight, y'all. This headache of mine it's done. I have got to go take this Maltrex, whatever it is. It is helping, and I cannot face this ring light anymore without going and getting sick. And I hate to end it tonight, but congratulations on getting an increase in your meds. That's awesome. Don't take it as a slight to anybody that I can't get everybody on tonight. It's just where I'm at. And, this will be revisited. I promise. This will be revisited. So, Amanda, do you have anything that you want to add?
I think you basically covered. I mean, I just want to say how much I appreciate y'all and your vulnerability and your honesty and you guys sharing your stories. It makes a difference in all of our lives that are involved. And, I just want to reiterate that we all have something that we can give back to the community. And I think it's really important that we find, that thing that fulfills us and that helps our community.
Yeah.
And no one is alone. If anybody, ever needs to reach out to Keith and I, feel free to private message us.
Yeah. I may be slow in responding.
Right,
don't hold that against me.
Yeah, please give us grace, at least a couple days grace for myself, because I have a hard time keeping up, but I will get back to y'all.
Yeah. I don't hide from my messages. So
yeah, it's not you, it's me.
No, I was responding in messages at 11:45 this morning or last night. So
I know, right? Same. Sorry, that was me that you were responding to.
No, it was another person, but as well. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for being you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for letting other people know they're not alone. You did it. You educated people. You let them know they're not alone. You let them know that they were cared for. Sitting there and bringing these stories up is not easy. But damn it, you showed people that you loved them by doing it and letting them know they're not alone. Mm-hmm. Take pride in that. Yeah. Take that as a victory. I swear to you, there's 10 billion guys out there that wouldn't have the guts to do it. And by caring for others like you do, God, you made such a huge difference.
Yeah.
And thank y'all for being a member of this community. I love you guys. If you need something from me, message me. And again, I'll get back to you. It may take me a day or two, but I'll get back to you. And we'll see you guys. Today's Thursday. I don't know. Maybe we'll sneak a few lives in over the weekend. And I love you. You guys have a great night, and y'all be safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.